Have you ever experienced complete silence? No phone, no distractions, and no one to affirm your existence, just you and your thoughts. Does that notion make you uneasy? We inhabit a world where silence is often drowned out by constant notifications, and our self-worth is frequently gauged by external validation. We pursue recognition, bend to societal pressures, and fear the void that solitude can bring. But is a life governed by others truly your own? The Stoics believed that genuine freedom arises not from wealth, status, or relationships, but from within. To live without the fear of solitude is to master the skill of self-sufficiency. It involves recognizing that you are already complete and that your peace does not hinge on anyone else. Ironically, those who learn to stand alone often forge the deepest connections, not out of necessity, but by choice. They carve their own paths, unaffected by judgment and liberated from the shackles of dependence. So, ask yourself, do you live for yourself, or are you merely a reflection of others' expectations? In this video, we will delve into how embracing solitude can lead to true strength, independence, and fulfillment. Stay with me, as this might transform your perspective on life. 1. Self-mastery, the path to freedom. Most of us may never find ourselves behind bars, yet many live as captives, not confined by walls, but by their own lack of self-control. When you cannot govern your own actions, you become a puppet to your emotions, circumstances, and the expectations of others. True freedom is not about escaping responsibilities or severing ties. It's about mastering yourself so that external factors cannot dictate your inner state. Self-control is more than just suppressing anger or resisting temptation. It's the ability to govern your own mind. It means choosing your reactions rather than responding impulsively, standing firm in your values despite external pressures, and refusing to let praise or criticism define you. Epicurus once stated, "No man is free who is not master of himself." If your happiness fluctuates with others' opinions, and your identity shifts based on societal approval, then you are not living for yourself. You are merely reflecting others. Living for yourself is not selfish, it is clarity. It involves understanding who you are, what you desire, and pursuing that path with unwavering determination. When you overly depend on validation, you relinquish control of your life, becoming a prisoner to expectations and allowing the fear of rejection to dictate your choices. A truly free individual knows when to say no, safeguarding their time, energy, and focus for what genuinely matters. Consider Vincent van Gogh, one of history's most celebrated painters. During his lifetime, he sold only one painting and faced rejection from society and family, living in near isolation. Yet, he painted not for approval but because it was his truth. Despite enduring poverty and ridicule, he never abandoned his art. He did not conform to trends but created masterpieces like Starry Night and Sunflowers. Had he allowed the world's judgment to break him, we might never have known his genius. Van Gogh's life exemplifies that when you master yourself, you create without seeking permission. Self-control is not about rejecting others, it's about not needing them to define your worth. It is the foundation of inner peace, resilience, and true freedom. While we cannot control the world, we can always control our responses. When faced with criticism, you can choose to react with anger or remain unaffected, knowing their words do not shape your reality. In moments of adversity, you can either dwell in frustration or take action to change what you can. Every moment presents you with the power to choose. If you do not master yourself, others will. If you do not decide how to live, the world will decide for you. Remember, no one can truly control you unless you allow them to. When you learn to govern yourself, you gain something that no one can take away: absolute freedom. 2. Stop seeking external validation. From childhood, we are conditioned to seek approval. A simple drawing can earn a proud smile from our parents, a high test score brings praise from teachers, and accomplishments are met with applause. This recognition fuels our drive to keep striving. While this is natural, what happens when we become dependent on it? If no one praises you, would you still feel worthy? If there is no applause, would you still believe in yourself? External validation is akin to fast food, quickly satisfying but ultimately empty. It cannot sustain you. The moment the applause fades, you may feel adrift, as if lacking direction. A life dictated by others' approval is not a life of freedom but one of servitude. Stoicism teaches that true fulfillment comes from within. Epictetus once said, "If you are ever tempted to seek outside approval, realize that you have compromised your own integrity. If you need a witness, be your own. Your worth is not something others grant you. 5. Remove obstacles to your personal growth. Have you ever paused to consider what is genuinely holding you back? Perhaps it's a job you loathe but feel trapped in, a relationship devoid of trust that you still cling to, or a silent fear that prevents you from stepping outside your comfort zone. We often think that growth comes from acquiring more skills, opportunities, or connections, but in truth, real growth frequently arises from letting go. Life resembles a garden. It's not enough to nurture what flourishes. We must also prune away what is withering. Yet, the hardest things to release are often the most familiar: stability, long-standing habits, and even the suffering we've learned to endure. We don't hold on because they benefit us. We cling to them out of fear of the emptiness that may follow their release. So, ask yourself, do you prefer comfort or growth? The story of Henry Ford exemplifies this truth. After his first 2 automobile companies failed, leaving him humiliated and broke, many would have seen this as a reason to give up. Instead of clinging to outdated methods, Ford eliminated what wasn't working and embraced a new vision: affordable cars for the masses. This shift in mindset led to the creation of the Ford Model T, revolutionizing the automobile industry. His success stemmed not from what he added, but from what he let go. How can you determine what to eliminate? Ask yourself one simple question: is this still contributing to my growth? If a relationship drains you more than it nurtures you, is it worth maintaining? If a job crushes your spirit instead of inspiring you, is it worth dedicating your life to? If fear keeps you paralyzed, is it worth carrying forever? The greatest tragedy is not losing what we have. It's looking back years later and realizing we never truly lived because we were too afraid to change. Growth does not come from absolute safety. It emerges from those moments when we dare to let go and move forward, even when the path ahead is unclear. So take a moment to reflect. Is there something in your life holding you back? If so, muster the courage to release it, for only by removing what no longer serves you can you create space for something greater. 6. Conquer the fear of judgment. Most people live in quiet captivity, haunted by a single question: what do others think of me? Here's a truth you must embrace. No matter what you do, people will always have opinions. Dress differently, and you're eccentric. Follow your passion, and you're unrealistic. Conform to expectations, and you're just ordinary. The reality is that you can never please everyone, and the more you try, the further you stray from your true self. The fear of judgment is not just a fleeting emotion. It's a chain that binds you, causing hesitation, forcing compromises, and, worst of all, preventing you from being who you truly are. Imagine having a dream that ignites your passion, but instead of pursuing it, you let the fear of ridicule hold you back. You want to change your path but hesitate, worrying about whispers behind your back. If you allow this fear to dictate your life, you will one day wake up drowning in regret. However, when you dare to step beyond this fear, you unlock something extraordinary: freedom. You will no longer be shackled by others' opinions because you will understand a profound truth: their judgments do not define your worth. You will live as you choose, pursue what you love, and walk your own path without looking over your shoulder. History remembers those who had the courage to stand apart, not those who remained silent out of fear. Vincent van Gogh was mocked, dismissed, and died in poverty, unrecognized for his genius. Had he painted for approval, he might have abandoned his art, but he didn't. He painted because it was his truth. Today, his works are priceless, while those who ridiculed him are long forgotten. His story proves that opinions are temporary, but what you create and believe in can last forever. If you let the fear of judgment control you, you will always live within the confines set by others. But if you dare to break free, you will finally experience what it means to truly live. So, ask yourself, will you spend your life conforming, or will you have the courage to be yourself? That is the real question. 7. Dare to live authentically and follow your heart. Life moves forward relentlessly. Seconds turn into minutes, minutes into hours, hours into days. Time does not wait, no matter how much we wish it would. The real question is, am I truly living, or is life simply passing me by? Reflect on today. What have you done differently from yesterday? We wake up, go to work, come home, sleep, and repeat. Days blur into weeks, and weeks into months.